So let us start with prisms, and in that the question number 12. Okay, the question says a square prism of base side 35 millimeters and height 60 millimeters has its axis inclined at 45 degrees to HP and has an edge of base on HP and inclined at 30 degrees to VP. So draw its projection. The question is pretty simple, that it is a square prism and the base square is 35 millimeter and height is 60 millimeters. Axis is inclined at 45 degrees to HP and it is resting on HP on one of its edges, and that edge is inclined at 30 degrees to vertical plane. So let us try to solve this. So first let me write what is given in that in steps. So first it is a square prism of 35 mm side base. Axis is 60 mm high. So axis, the height of the prism is 60 millimeters. Okay, it is resting on HP on one of the edges. Okay, step 2, they just gave that axis is inclined at 45 degrees to HP. Okay, step 2, they gave axis is inclined at 45 degrees to HP and the edge where it is resting is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. So step 2 will be axis inclined to HP at 60 degrees and the edge on which it is resting is inclined at 30 degrees to vertical plane. Okay, so this is what is given. See, the way we start the question will be same. I mean, just like pyramids, we are going to start it. Okay, so it is resting on HP, so we'll start in the top view. That will be the first thing. How should I draw it? Should I start with a corner or edge? That will be decided here. It is resting on the edge, so I'll be ending with the edge. So simple thing, I have to draw a square. So I have to draw a square of a square is 4 sides. Okay, so I have to draw in such a way that it is resting on one of the edge. Okay, so it should end with the edge. It should end with edge. So I'll start somewhere here, and the size is 35 millimeters. So I'll draw something like this. Okay, now the main question comes here. Should we draw that diagonal lines also? We'll see that. Okay, so the main things come to find the center. To find the center of any even sided figure, you just have to draw the diagonals. Wherever the diagonals meet, that will be the center of that particular figure. Okay, so now coming to the naming. See, this is where the main change occurs, naming. Okay, so if you concentrate on one thing, later on it will be very easy for all the other questions. Okay, so naming. For a prism, usually you have two square faces, one at the top and one at the bottom. So what I'm going to do, the top face, I'll name it as ABCD, and the corresponding bottom face, I'll name it as A1, B1, C1 and D1. Okay, so when I see it from the top, first I'll see A in the top, and below that I'll have A1. Below that I'll have A1. For the next point, at the top I have B and below that I have B1. So even if it is a bit confusing, just wait for 5 minutes, you will get the clarity on this. Okay, so here I'll have the point on the top as C and below that I'll have C1. Here the point will be D and below that we'll have the point D1. Now coming to the center, we'll have the center as usual as O, and below that we'll have something like O1. Okay, so this is a normal notation that we are going to use. The top face we name it as ABCD, and the bottom face we'll name it as A1 B1 C1 D1. Now the question is, what are the things that we should make dark here? Okay, the only thing that we should be making dark here is this. Why am I not making these diagonal lines dark? Simple. When it is a pyramid, you can see these slant edges, but when it is a prism, there is nothing, no edge here to see. Correct? The only thing that will be visible is the boundary. Okay, so this is the main difference between prism and pyramid. For a pyramid, we'll make even these diagonals dark, but for prism we don't make it dark because there is no real edge there. Okay, so after completion of step 1, okay, just to complete the step 1, let me give the dimension. So this completes initial step. Okay, I mean the start of step 1. So once you are done with that, the next thing that you do is, from the center, take and name the point O1. Okay, this is my point O1. This is my point O1 prime. Okay, so that's the point O1 prime. You have to take the height from the O1. Okay, so the height is 60 mm. So take 60 mm here, and there I got the point O. So make it a habit, like first draw the axis and then draw anything else. So axis should be dot and dash line. So it will be dash and dot line like this. Okay. So this will be the starting procedure for front view. So once you have done that, then join each and every point onto the reference line. Okay. Now, if it was a pyramid, I would have joined everything here straight away to O. But this is a prism, so it looks like a square for me, a rectangle for me. So how does that rectangle looks like? So the rectangle will be something like this. Okay, so it looks something like this. Now, coming to the naming, how to give the name, that's what the question here. Okay, I told you the top face will be ABCD and the bottom face will be A1 B1 C1 D1. Now just imagine as if you are looking from the bottom, I mean for the front view. Okay, so you are looking from here and you are going to give the names. So what is this point here? This particular point here, this is the base. So the first base point that I'm going to see is D1, and that will be D1 prime, and behind that there is another point A1, so it will be A1 prime. So just understand this, this is the base point. Correct? So imagine as if you are looking from here. When you see from here, the first point that you see is D1, that is the base. So base is always suffix, base will always come with the suffix 1, and the top will be just ABCD. Okay, so this will be D1 prime and A1 prime. A1 prime will be in bracket because it is behind D1. Okay, now coming to this point, first here I see C1 prime because this is the base. So base, I'll see C1 prime, and behind that I have B1 prime. Okay, so this is how we give the names. Now use the same logic to give name in the top. So first the point in the top that I see is D, so D prime, and behind that I'll have A. Okay, same way here, the first point that I see here will be C prime, and in bracket it will be B prime. Why? Because when you see from here, the first point that you see in the top is C, and behind that it is B. So this is how we get it. Now what to make dark in this? In this, we have to make these boundaries dark. Okay, whatever the real edges that we see here, that will be dark here. Okay, so this is a major difference between a prism and a pyramid. When it is a pyramid, you get a rectangle here, sorry, triangle here, and when it is a prism, you get a rectangle here. Okay, so this is the major difference. Now second step is same, the way we you do second step in pyramids, the same way we are going to do pyramids here also. So axis is inclined at 60 degrees to HP. So axis has to be 60 degrees inclined to HP like this. So when axis is at 60 degrees, what will be the inclination of base? That will be 90 minus 60 degrees. So
It's 45, I guess. in the question.
Is it 45? Oh, sorry. Yeah. So in the question, it was given 45. So axis is inclined at 45 degrees. Thank you. So axis is inclined at 45 degrees. So when axis is inclined at 45, the base will be inclined at 90 minus 45 degrees. So take an inclination of 45 degrees here. Okay. So take an inclination of 45 degrees here. Excuse me. Okay. So take the inclination as 90 minus 45 degrees here. So this is how I have drawn it. After taking this line, the first thing that we do is take this base point here. Okay. So once you get the base point, measure C1 to D1 and draw an arc. Okay. So once you measure C1 to D1 and draw an arc, you get the other point here. Okay, the other point will be here, and we know by symmetry O1 will be at the center. You can just take your compass, measure C1 to O1, draw an arc, you will get the point O1 prime somewhere at the center here. Okay, so once you get this, using these 2 points C1 prime and D1 prime, you have to find the other points, like measure C1 to C prime, cut an arc, measure D1 to C prime and cut one more arc, you will get C prime here, and measure C prime to D prime, cut an arc here, and D1 to D, cut one more arc, you will get the rectangle. Okay, so just to save time, I'll be drawing the entire thing here. Okay, okay, yeah. So the final image that you will be getting here will be, so this name is not required. So the final image that you will be getting here will be something like this. So the second point will be on here. So you will get something like this. Once you find using your compass, you will get something like this. So this point will be my C prime, B prime, and the other point will be my D prime, A prime. Okay, so this will be the second step. And what is the dimension that you are supposed to give here? So the inclination between axis as well as this one. So sorry. So the dimension that we are supposed to give is inclination between the axis as well as the reference line. This is what is given in the question. Okay. So now coming to the next one, to complete the step 2, we are supposed to follow this, like draw horizontal lines from each and every point. It's like identifying the top view points there. Okay, the same method what we do for prisms. So even for planes also we do the same, correct? So we are just going to follow the same method here. So just to be sure, I'll select the proper point here. So do it from each and every point. We are supposed to find all the points. Okay. So okay. So after doing this, the next important thing that we are going to do is to identify different points over here. So if you see properly, DA1 and A is meeting here. So this particular point what I have here will be my A1. Okay, that particular point is my A1. So here if I have A1, this point will be my B1. Okay, so identification of points is very important, because you miss one thing and everything will be wrong here. Okay, So after that, naming here, so this point will be my A, where A1 meeting, okay. So this point will be my B, where B1, sorry, B1, sorry, B prime is meeting. So here it is my point C, where C and C prime are meeting. At this particular point is D, where D and D prime are meeting. So two more points that we have to identify are top of the axis O and the base of the axis O1 here. Okay, O1 here. Done. So now we have identified all the points. So after this, once you have drawn this, you can remove all the extra portions which you doesn't want, something like this. So whatever the line you think which is not required for you, you can straight away delete them, or we can draw the lines here separately. Okay, so from A, again the simple logic will be first join the base A1 to B1, B1 to C1, C1 to D1, and D1 back to A1. So that will be one loop. The second loop will be the top face A to B, C, D, and then back to A. Okay, the next one will be joining the axis line is already there, so I'm not drawing it. So the final step will be join A to A1, join B to B1, C to C1, and D to D1. So what did I do here? First I have drawn a base, then I have drawn the top face, after that drawn the axis, then join A1, B1, C1, D1. So this completes the figure. Now we have to identify what are the lines which are hidden, which are not seen. Okay, when you see from the top, okay, so this is your front view here, this is your front view. When you look from the top, what are the lines that we can't see? By default we can't see the lines joining C1 and B1. So first I'll make it hidden. Okay, so first I'll make it hidden. So this line is not required, yeah. So first I'll make it hidden. So after that, can I see this AD line? Yes, I can see, so I'll keep it there. So what is the first thing that I can see from the top is the top face. So I'll make this top face visible properly. Okay, so what else can be seen here? Hey, one second. Yeah. So top face can be seen. So these two lines can be properly seen. Even these lines can be seen here, but the problem here is B1 is at the base. So B1 is at the base, so that should be hidden. But above that we have a dark line, correct? So I told you continuous line will be dominating hidden lines as well as axis lines. B1 line will be hidden, but above that we have a continuous line. So we just have to show that continuous line here. Okay. So and this edge A1 can be seen properly. So you don't have to make it hidden. Okay. So now make this hidden also thick. Done. And this should be axis. So this particular O1 should be my axis. So after that I can delete all the extra lines which are not required so that the figure looks proper. Okay, so this will be my completion of step 2. So this will be end of step 2. So I'm just erasing all the unnecessary lines here. So this will be my step 2. Now what is step 3? Step 3 says edge where it is resting is inclined at 30 degrees to VP. Now if you see properly, what is the edge resting on the reference line? That is C1 B1, correct? So first we have to draw a line which is at 30 degrees. So see, we can take a line at any point, but I'm taking here, you'll understand the reason soon. Okay, so I just need to take a line which is at 30 degrees. Okay, so now we can see even this particular line is also making 30 degrees with reference line. So you can take 30 degrees line anywhere, so it doesn't matter much. Okay, this particular edge should be resting on this. So what I can do, choose any random point on this and give the name as b1. So give the name as b1 and measure b1 to c1 and cut an arc. So measure b1 to c1 using your compass, and from b1 you can cut an arc. Okay, so cut an arc here. That particular point will be your c1. Okay, so once you get 2 points with respect to these 2 points, you are supposed to complete the entire figure. So once you complete, it looks something like this. Okay, so I can again use the align command. In AutoCAD I have this option, but in the book you have to use your compass to draw it. Okay, so C1 has to be here, B1 has to be here. So once you complete it, it looks something like this. So I'm deleting these extra portions. Done. So once you draw it, it looks something like this. Okay, so what did I just do? I have just maintained an angle 30 degrees with the base to the reference line. What happened again? There's a mistake in this. Okay, so this particular inclination will be 30 degrees. Okay, so let me show that angle here. Okay, yeah, so the angle between these two will be 30 degrees here, and that's where the line is resting. Okay, the edge b1 c1 is resting here. Now the next step will be, so this is the only dimension that you are supposed to give here and nothing else. So the next step will be to complete the figure. So from D, draw lines. So from every point this has to be done. This is our normal procedure. That's what we do. Okay. See, what I'm trying to tell here is the procedure is same. The only difference is the number of points will be more here. That's it. So when you compare it with a pyramid, the procedure is almost same. Even the logics that you use here are going to be same. The only difference will be there in the top you'll just have 1 point, but here we are having multiple points at the top. That's the only difference that we usually get here. Okay, so you should be a bit more patient when doing this, because any point that you make a mistake while identifying the point, you'll get wrong figures. Okay, so and how do we get this? The only way of like getting these things correct is practice. Okay, from c1 is here, so b1 is here, a1 will be somewhere here, and then comes the point t1 onto this line. Okay, so now I have got all the points here. So next thing that I do is name. So where a prime meets, that will be my new a prime. Okay, so this particular point will be my d prime. Then this point is c prime. This is b prime. Okay, so one line that I missed here is o. So o has to be marked from here, so where it is meeting, this is the point. So this is o prime. See, now I have just given the names for the top face. The same way we have to give names for the bottom face. So the point where a prime meeting, that is my new a prime. Okay, where this point will be new d prime. So now you can properly see what was the logic in drawing it. So where C prime meets, that is C, okay. C prime meets here, so that will be C1 prime. Oh, sorry, there should be one suffix here, correct? So this will be 1 prime. This is A1 prime. Okay. One last thing, where B prime meets, that will be B1 prime. Okay. And one last point, this particular point is O1 prime. Because there are lots of points in this, a good number of chances are there that we get confused. But so when we are drawing it, so make sure you are drawing it in order. So A, then to B, then to C, D, and back to A. So I have completed the bottom face here. So next thing that I do, I complete the top face. So A to B, to C, to D, and back to A. I have drawn the top face. Okay, so I have completed the bottom face. I have completed the top face. Then let us draw the axis. Axis will be from O to O1. Okay, so I have drawn the axis. The next thing that I am going to do is join A to A1, join B to B1. Okay, then C prime to C1 prime, then D prime to D1 prime. Okay, so this way I can assure that no lines will be missed. So first let me draw the axis. So this is the axis, so I have marked it as axis there. The next thing I told you, outer boundary can never be hidden. So first mark all the outer boundary dark. Outer boundary can never be hidden, take it for granted. Okay, so outer boundary is done. The one shortcut that I told that I'll be telling you is, see, this is the axis here, correct? This is the axis and this is the reference line. Just see the points between axis and reference line in the acute angle portion. See, there is one obtuse angle, there is one acute angle. So just look for the points which are in the acute angle portion. Okay. So any line with respect to those acute points will be usually hidden until unless it is the outer boundary of it. Okay, so now see this, what are the points between these two? A, B, B1, A1, correct? So A, B, A1, B1. So first let me make the points which are related to B1 as hidden. So I'll choose this. So this will be hidden. What is the other point? A, B, A1, B1, correct? So B, with respect to B, what are the lines that we have here? It is these two, so I'll make those two hidden. So I have taken care of the points B, whichever lines are joining with B, I made them hidden. Next point with respect to A. With respect to A, already I made one line hidden, but the other two lines are outer boundary, so I don't make it hidden. So just remember, outer boundary can never be hidden. Okay, now coming to B1. So B1, these two are outer boundary, they cannot be hidden, so only one hidden line. Next, coming to A1. So the same story here, A1 is the outermost point. So now complete the others with continuous lines, and that's it. See, now I have drawn the hidden lines as well as continuous lines along with the axis. So this completes your question here. So just remember this last logic what we have discussed for that hidden lines.